Hello, and thanks for tuning in. As always, I'm Reverend JR, and today we're looking at a video from Prager University entitled, "If You Hate Poverty, You Should Love Capitalism." Let's see where this takes us.
The next time you hear someone complain about capitalism, consider this. The percentage of people living at starvation-level poverty has fallen 80% since 1970.
Hot diggity donut, Prager doesn't even filter their own breathing. Chocolate rain. Anyway, with that out of the way, did we not have capitalism before 1970? Just curious.
Before then, more than 1 in 4 people around the world were living on $1 a day or less.
You do realize this doesn't help your argument, right? I mean, poverty still exists, and capitalism has been around for millennia. So what's your point?
Today, it's about 1 in 20.
So you mean the fact that we've gotten vaccines further around the world in that time than any other time, or the fact that people like Bill Gates and other philanthropists go out of their way to help third world countries to no benefit of their own, capitalist or otherwise? You mean all of this philanthropic charity work that all of these nonprofits do to help war-torn areas or impoverished areas or whatever? You're telling me that they have had absolutely no effect on that? Doctors Without Borders, you think, is a capitalist organization. You think helping people learn to read is capitalism. You know, I was on a live stream the other night. Somebody told me capitalism is fascism, like the two are interchangeable. And now I'm beginning to think Prager is taking exactly the opposite stance. But let's again see where it goes.
This is the greatest anti-poverty achievement in world history.
Oh, really? It's better than Farm Aid that helps keep the price of food low and regulates the supply of it outside of the structures and strictures of capitalism. You don't think government regulations have anything to do with it? And I find that fascinating. You're telling me the free and reduced lunch school program has done less to eliminate the effects of poverty than capitalism has. You're telling me the taxes we levy against landowners have done more to benefit the construction of roads that anyone can use, as opposed to using toll roads like the Zane Trace, for example, have done more to help poverty than capitalism. You're telling me that the Red Cross does less to help impoverished individuals undergoing hardship than capitalism does. I'm sorry, but I must say you are mistaken.
So, how did this remarkable transformation come to pass?
I'll give you a hint. It is neither capitalism nor socialism, nor communism or whatever you want to call it, when people share resources. It is a combination of the two that we call American, or more generally Western, free market economics, with a base in government intervention of the rules that govern the marketplace. You can be the most far-left anarcho-capitalist or far-right, most libertarian or authoritarian, whatever. And you can still understand how your money is worthless if you don't have a system to spend it in. And it can be equally worthless if no one will accept it because they do not recognize your form of capitalism. Every form of capitalism is at its heart a form of socialism where people agree that pieces of paper have value that can be determined by the community. You understand? I hope you understand. But go ahead and tell us what you think the reason was.
Was it the fabulous success of the United Nations?
Well, I suppose that depends on your view of the United Nations. But at the same time, if we didn't have some of the protections that the United Nations provides, with us being a member state to it, our trade with the rest of the world would be greatly impeded. Again, I wonder if you think anarcho-capitalism would be better. But, continue.
The generosity of U.S. foreign aid?
Helping to stabilize other countries actually does benefit us economically, regardless of your view on the socialist aspect of collecting taxes to help people. If we help develop other nations, then we have future trading partners. We also reduce the number of wars over resources, and we increase the global state of peace, which helps produce a more vibrant market in the world. So yes, even if you're arguing from a capitalist perspective, which I kind of agree with, perhaps we should, even if you're arguing from it, it makes sense to help people who are worse off than you, to make them more economically viable, so that you have more options to trade with them in the future when they become more productive. This is not rocket science, but it is macroeconomics.
The brilliant policies of the International Monetary Fund and World Bank?
Wait a minute. Now you're trying to tell me that capitalist institutions are bad? Oh goodness, I'm gonna need more beer.
Stimulus spending? Government redistribution?
Seriously, are you just going to keep listing off things? Are traps gay? Did Batman's parents die? The world may never know. I don't care what you think of those things. I care for you to explain to me why capitalism is good for poverty, not why the other things you do not like are not. For you see, the fallacy here is that your thing can also be just like theirs. So I do not care what the other policies are. I want you to show me why yours is better than them, not why they're bad. Can you do that for me, Mr. Baldman? I'm asking too much. You've got a blue background.
No. It was none of those things.
He said in monotone, without any sources. I too can speak in monotone, Mr. Baldman in front of the blue screen. We can all speak in monotone.
It was capitalism.
No, it wasn't. See, I can do that too. Again, I'm not arguing for or against capitalism. I'm just trying to show you why your argument sucks.
Billions of souls around the world have been able to pull themselves out of poverty thanks to 5 incredible innovations.
Let me guess. Number 1, food stamps. Number 2, welfare and all the programs it encompasses. Number 3, the Bush-era stimulus packages. 4, Obama's bailout programs. 5, the public education system, and also infrastructure in general, like the Tennessee Valley Authority, or ARPA, or maybe even NASA, which gave us great things like chemotherapy.
Globalization, free trade, property rights, the rule of law, and entrepreneurship.
May I take a moment to remind you that the United Socialist Soviet Republic, the USSR, had all 5 of those things. It had globalization and free trade. They traded Tetris to the rest of the world for boatloads of vodka. They had property rights. In fact, in a lot of socialist and communist countries, there are property rights. There is even entrepreneurship. China is arguably one of the best entrepreneurial countries in the world right now, and they're socialist. And let me remind you, from Hammurabi to the Bible to Hindu to every fucking society on earth, there has been a rule of law. There has not been one anarchist peoples in the entire world. Even the Mongols had rules. Even pirates obey the rule of law. Even in feudal Japan and the caste system of India, the rule of law helps people whether they're in poverty or not, and whether they have what you would call a capitalist economy or not. You are being very intellectually disingenuous to list those 5 particular things.
Globalization means the ever-increasing ability to move goods, people, and ideas from one distant location to another.
Riddle me this, Batman. How many slaves were freed from poverty by the globalization of the slave trade, ya prick?
Free trade is open access to markets and people from all over the world with few, if any, barriers.
Alright, I didn't actually listen this far into the video yet, but I hit the nail on the head with that last point, didn't I?
Property rights is ensuring that what belongs to you can't be taken away on a whim by the state.
Oh, I wish I was in Dixie's land. Hooray, hooray. I wish I was in Dixieland, and they wouldn't take my state rights away. Look away, look away, look away now to Dixie. Sound familiar?
The rule of law safeguards contracts, assuring that they will be respected and lived up to whether the deal is made in Peru or Poland.
Now, I carry these slaves on the finest vessel this side of the Pacific, and I carry with me the full authority of the East India Trading Company. So, do we have a deal?
And entrepreneurship is the creativity of free people to dream up new products that we never knew we wanted or needed.
Now, you listen here. We've got all the rights of a free man to trade these slaves here however we like. This is a capitalist empire, after all, and I will not be revoked of my rights. The rule of law states that I may have it. So now, will you be a dare and give me my iced tea? This work is making me mighty thirsty. Do you see the fallacy in your premise, dumbass? Although I will say prager is more ballsy than most, saying that the government, which is funded by taxes, which are a socialist construct, are the best way to enforce capitalism. Just throwing that out there.
It's worth noting that in places like East Asia, these 5 things were all made possible by the historic peace after World War II.
That's right! Fuck you, Marco Polo. Fuck you, British imperialism. Fuck you, Genghis Khan. Clearly, the only reason... I've listened to it like 7 times now. I am honestly at a loss for words. The spice route, it was just, absolutely did not contribute to globalization or empire building or capitalism or free market or any of those things. Nope. We've got to have our revisionist history in here. Capitalism did not exist until the end of World War II, and globalization did not exist until 1985. That's fucking dumb. Oh, sorry, I've lost my composure, and I may not regain it for the remainder of this, because I can't take any more of this. That's going to be the end of it. You know what to do. This has been Reverend JR, signing off.